What's up, everybody? It's Grim, your future YouTube wrestling figures heavyweight champion, coming to you today with my Raw reactions for the June 13th, 2016 episode, which is the final episode of Raw going into the Money in the Bank paper screw coming up this weekend. I'm super excited for this event, even though Raw was a little bit lackluster. So the first thing I want to talk about is a contract signing between John Cena and AJ Hairstyles. Why the fuck are they having a contract signing when there's no title involved in the match? They don't sign contracts for every single match they have. Could you imagine the backlog of paperwork that these poor people would have to go through with all the matches that they have all the time on Raw, SmackDown, Superstars, main event, dark matches, house shows, pay-per-views? Bullshit. This was pure bullshittery. So what the hell were they having a contract signing for? It was just a setup for John Cena to goat AJ Styles into getting rid of the club for the match. He's like, oh, you motherfucker, you want to sign this contract? That means the club won't be at ringside. This contract means you need the help of the club because you are not going to beat me. And AJ Styles is like, I don't need nobody's help. I'm amazing. I'm phenomenal. And he signs the contract that says that he doesn't need any help from the club. The club will not be at ringside. But they didn't specifically mention that the club would be banned from ringside, did they? A lot of the same stuff was said this week that they said last week, you know, about AJ Styles is buried by guys like John Cena, which you guys were super pissed I didn't mention in last week's Raw review. And so, you know, I'm not going to mention every single thing that they say, but one thing I thought was super important that was mentioned in this promo is AJ Styles called John Cena a Kmart shopping ass. Now that is comedy right there, because, you know, he's wearing the entire Kmart attire, which you can buy exclusively at Kmart. So the roast was in full swing. It was a pretty good promo, setting up their match, but no physicality. How the fuck do you have a contract signing and it end without anybody going through the table? Too stupid. Failed it ×2. People were pissed. The other big promo of the night was the Ambrose Asylum. Asshole Asylum. We had Dean Ambrose with his own talk show. Apparently they cleared the air about how Shane McMahon gave it back to him, even though Stephanie McMahon canceled it, because we were like, wait, I thought Stephanie canceled this, but it's back all of a sudden. So at least they covered their asses on that. Out comes Rollins. Out comes the champion Reigns. More people cheered for Rollins than they did for Reigns. Reigns got booed out of the building. Boo. And Seth Rollins starts talking about the good times. He starts talking about shit that happened in that very arena. He starts talking about beating the crap out of the New Age assholes at WrestleMania as part of the Shield. He's talking about some of the greatest stuff the Shield has ever done. And then, of course, he swerves it back to heel by saying the best thing that they ever did in the ring together was when he smacked him in the back of the head with the solid steel chair and turned on the Shield to go off on his own. Naturally, Dean asshole, Roman Reigns, that made them super salty. They addressed the fact that Rollins never lost the title. Obviously, Reigns never beat Rollins for the title. Rollins brings up the fact, oh, wait, hey, Roman, you actually beat Dean for that belt, didn't you? And now you're going to lose to me. And then Dean's like, well, what if I win the briefcase? The Money in the Bank match. Spoiler alert, won't happen. Dean Ambrose then threatens he's going to cash in. It doesn't matter who wins. Of course, chaos ensues. Now they're kicking the crap out of each other right in the middle of the ring. Superman punch. Rollins goes for a pedigree. He gets Superman punched. Dean Ambrose hits the dirty dildos. Next thing you know, Dean's standing tall, which obviously means he's not going to get anything on Sunday at this pay-per-view. By the way, I'll have my predictions for the pay-per-view coming up on Thursday. But Dean Ambrose stands tall at the end of the segment. It was actually really good to see the Shield all in the ring together, talking about who the best. Rollins the best. Roman's the best. Dean's the best. Who do you think's the best out of the Shield? Let me know in the comments below. Raw started off with a roast fest. Well, actually, no, it didn't start off with a roast fest. It actually started off with a tribute to all the poor people who got slaughtered in Orlando, which was just absolutely disgusting. But it was nice to see WWE offer that tribute. You know, that started the show. Then the hype train started up with the New Day, and their promo was fire. It was funny as fuck. They roasted Kofi Kingston like a turkey because he was wearing some new sneakers, and I'm not familiar with his sneakers. Well, Kofi's like similar age to me, and he was getting getting picked on big time for his choice in footwear. And I don't know, I thought they looked kind of cool. I don't know why they were picking on the poor bastard. They even called them orthopedics, which then led to Enzo and Cass coming out and doing their whole thing, because you can't teach that. Here comes the fraud villains. This son of a bitch is singing a song, aching asswipe, I'm going to win the belts of the WWE. And I'm like, you piece of shit. You Kermit-sounding son of a bitch. I gave Kermit's voice to Kevin Owens already on GTS Wrestling, and now this son of a bitch has Kermit's voice confirmed. Failed it ×2. He starts singing a song, but then whose music hits? Anderson and Gallows. So now we got all 4 teams that are going to be involved in the Fatal 4-Way match at Money in the Bank, and they're going to have a 4-on-4. It's going to be New Day, Enzo and Cass versus the Fraud Villains, Doc Gallows, and Carl Underpants. And Carl Underpants and Gallows get the big win here with their finishing move. Boom. That was your opening match. It wasn't bad. It wasn't the best match. It was just kind of like, you know, action for the sake of action, because these guys are going to be in the match on Sunday. And now we definitely know Carl Anderson and Puke Gallows ain't going to win the belts because they just won this. So I'm wondering why they had Paige beat Charlotte in a singles match. Women's title, not on the line. But yet Paige is not going to get a title shot. The women's title's not even going to be defended at the paper screw. At Money in the Bank, it's going to be Natalya and Becky Lynch versus Charlotte and Dana Brooke. And of course, this matchup meant nothing. Dana Brooke accidentally costed Charlotte the match. Charlotte screamed at her backstage for it. So they're kind of already building a riff in these 2 chicks that they just put together 2 weeks ago. Well, I guess just like a woman, they can't stay friends for more than 2 weeks, right? But the match with Paige was like short as my dick. I couldn't understand why this match... Wait a minute, did I say that? And why they're not putting Paige in the title picture. Once again, too stupid. Best match of the night, in my opinion, Sami Zayn versus Cesaro. You can't go wrong with these two. They always put on a phenomenal show. Maybe they lack a little bit in the personality department, but they fucking nailed this match. They even had a promo beforehand, which was funny as hell. In this matchup, Sami Zayn wins with some kind of reversed pile driver flippy-do gimmick. Plop, 1, 2, 3, and that's it. And I couldn't even be mad, because if Cesaro won, I'm like, good, Cesaro deserved the win. If Sammy won, good, Sammy deserves the win. Neither one of these guys looked bad. They both came out looking strong. Sammy gets the win. Epic match. If you missed it, if you missed any part of Raw, go back and watch that match. The main event match was Dean Ambrose versus Chris Jericho. Another match that was pretty good, but nowhere near as good as Sammy and Cesaro. Dean Ambrose gets the win here at the end with the dirty deeds. But the big deal about this match was everybody else who was involved in Money in the Bank was at ringside. We had Kevin Owens on commentary, Sami Zayn on commentary, Cesaro, guest ring announcer, and Alberto Del Rio ringing the Taco Bell. You think that they put him there on purpose? You think that they did that? They're like, oh, Taco Bell, Alberto Del Rio? Because, you know, Vince thinks like that. He's fucked up. So Alberto Del Rio out there ringing the bell. And like I said, Dean Ambrose gets the win. Kevin Owens attacks him for no reason. Here comes Sami Zayn for the save. Next thing you know, Cesaro's in there, and he's doing that flipping flying uppercut thing. And he nails Alberto Del Rio. They all roll out of the ring, and then Sami Zayn does some giant flip on the top. Which just leaves Jericho. What does Jericho do? He goes in there and wins Money in the Bank. Is the match over, or does that not count at all? The sumbitch sets up the ladder, climbs up, grabs the briefcase, and sits on top of the ladder like the weirdo that he's been. You know the memes of Chris Jericho sitting there with his legs crossed? That's what he did at the top of the ladder with the Money in the Bank briefcase. Does that mean that the sumbitch is gonna win this Sunday? That confirms the fact the fuck is gonna lose, I promise you. Alberto Del Rio and Kevin Owens were forced to team up against the Dusha Dragons. And the stipulation here that Stephanie McMahon said was that if Alberto and Owens lose, they lose their position in the Money in the Bank to the Lucha Dragons. This match was actually super entertaining because it has a storyline behind it. Kevin Owens, of course, doesn't want to lose. Neither does Alberto. But then Kevin Owens doesn't want to help Alberto Del Rio win either. And he was so conflicted. It was so funny. Alberto Del Rio's about to get counted out, and Kevin Owens rolls him in. He's like, get in there, you son of a bitch. We're going to get counted out. And then Alberto almost gets pinned, and Kevin Owens reluctantly had to go in and save him. It was really funny the way they built the match, and they won by the skin on their nutsacks. And then backstage, of course, Kevin Owens had to roast Alberto Del Rio like a turkey about almost costing them the match, and also speaking Spanish. We got a matchup between Sheamus and Zack Ryder that was set up backstage when Zack Ryder was talking shit about how cool Apollo Crews' beatdown to Sheamus was. And Sheamus is like, oh, fella, you think that's funny, fella? How about I bro kick your fucking beard off your face, fella? Next thing you know, they're in a matchup. And of course, Sheamus wins. It wasn't even much of a match. What was it, 2 or 3 minutes long? And then Sheamus starts beating up Zack after the match. But don't worry. Here comes Apollo Crews. He's just happy to be here. He's all like, ah! He comes in and starts waffling Sheamus with some of the worst punches I've ever seen. I'm like, didn't you go to NXT Performance Center? Haven't they teach you how to punch a little bit better? Hepatitis O'Neil was supposed to have a match, right? But he never made it to the ring, because Rusev attacked him. Rusev beat him down mercilessly, asserting his dominance and telling Hepatitis O'Neil, there's no chance you're going to win this Sunday. No chance you're going to take the United States title from Rusev. But my question is who was Hepatitis O'Neil supposed to face in this match? They never actually announced an opponent for him. Fuck, it was set up, fuck. Now, of course it was just a segment to build up their match on Sunday, which was cool. It was a good beatdown. It was brutal. It made me think that Rusev is a monster, and I really want to see Titus come back to win. Spoiler alert, he won't. Oh, good. Kane's back, said no one ever. And he's back as Corporate Kane, and he's lobbying to take control of SmackDown. And I thought that one of the funniest parts of this entire backstage segment was, he says to Shane, is this about the car battery to the nutsack thing? Because I thought we were past that. And Shane's like, we are, but still, nope. I don't understand how they could turn down Kane for the job of running SmackDown when he had a letter of recommendation from The Undertaker. I mean, right there, that should qualify you for any job you ever want in the world ever, right? So all in all, it was a decent episode of Raw. It wasn't the greatest episode of Raw. It did a lot to build up into Money in the Bank, which is what it was supposed to do. There wasn't so much physicality going into Money in the Bank. It was more like a lot of promos and stuff, but I still think it did the job. It made me excited for Money in the Bank. Let me know what you guys thought of the show in the comments below, and I thank you guys for watching my Raw reactions. Please like this video, leave a comment, and subscribe for more Grim Out of the Ring.